Good afternoon, everyone. It's Shiva Asar Tammuz. It's a fast day across the Jewish world today. It's a date that commemorates so many days of Jewish tragedy. But particularly we are fasting because it was on this day that the Roman Empire, close to 2,000 years ago, breached the walls of Yerushalayim, of Jerusalem, laying the siege which would become then the ultimate destruction of our Bet HaMikdash, our holy temple, just 3 weeks later on the 9th of Av. When we think about the word Yerushalayim, it's a fascinating idea. It's a combination of two words, Yireh and Shalem. Where does this come from? I saw a midrash this afternoon which is absolutely astounding, and it's astounding on many different levels. The midrash says that Noach, as we know, had 3 sons, one of which was Shem, one of the greatest men that ever lived. He was the first one to call Yerushalayim a name. He called it Shalem, which meant perfection. Later on in history, the forefather of our nation, the patriarch of our nation, Abraham, comes along and he refers to Yerushalayim as Yireh, the ability to see. And the Midrash says something astounding. Hashem turned in heaven to the angels and said, how am I going to refer to this city? If I refer to it as Shalem, Abraham will be slighted. If I refer to it as Yireh, then Shem will be slighted. So he says, I will combine both words. Yireh Shalem Yerushalayim. The idea to see perfect clarity in Yerushalayim. Combination of 2 words. I saw in the book Rabbi Spyro a fascinating question. He asked, do we really think that Abraham and Shem, 2 of the greatest men that ever lived, would be upset about the fact that their name wasn't used? What is being told over here? So just to flesh out the idea, I think there's several points. Number 1, we see from here a lesson for life. That even if there's the slightest concern that somebody might be slighted by something that we say, we avoid it. The concept that my dad taught me many years ago, we are boreach mi machloket ke'esh. We run away from arguments and strife like we run away from fire. But maybe there's something else that's going on over here. Maybe Hashem himself understood that one of the prime catalysts that would destroy the Jewish people and destroy the Jewish world forever, because we would be sent into exile with the destroyed building of the temple, was because of something that we did and haven't yet rectified. The idea of sinat chinam. The Talmud tells us sinat chinam equates to 3 of the worst sins. Baseless hatred, the idea of not getting along with one another, the idea of strife, the idea of fighting and infighting and not having achdut and not having unity is the catalyst that destroyed the temple. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu in his wisdom said, you know what I'm going to do? We're going to name the very city where I'm supposed to reside as a name that's ubiquitous with this concept of love and idea, the idea of pshara, the idea of coming together and creating compromise. You know, when we think about sinat chinam, we think about the idea of not loving every Jew the way we should, because sometimes we categorize people. I saw a fascinating story which I just want to share with you today, which revolves around a man by the name of the Square Rebbe, Rabbi Twersky, who has a big Hasidic set in New York. And it's not uncommon when you visit his home, even at 2 o'clock in the morning, to see Hasidim lining up to get blessings and to put in their requests for different things that they need. The story goes that a couple of years ago, there was a man that joined the line. This man did not look like a chassid. In fact, he was wearing jeans and a nice pink shirt, whatever it is, a kippah sruga, knitted kippah. And he joined the line, and with trepidation, he made his way to the Rebbe. And the Rebbe said, what can I do for you? And he says, I'd like you to give a blessing for a refuah shlema. We need someone who's unwell to get better. His name is Yerachmiel ben Bela. Yerachmiel ben Bela, he should have a refuah shlema. Fine. As he's leaving, one of the Gabayim, one of the wardens that is in charge of the rabbi, pulls him aside and he says, how do you know that name, Yerachmiel ben Bela? He says, I'll tell you. He says, I work in a summer camp called Camp Hask, the Hebrew Academy of Special Children. This is a place that was set up in the Catskill Mountains. And if you're familiar with it, you'll know that they have concerts every year. But they basically accept all children from all walks of life, and they give the parents a respite for 6 weeks. Children with special needs come and they're given a chance of a lifetime to have a summer of a lifetime. He says, my counselor is Yerachmiel ben Bela, and he's very, very sick. He said, well, what else do you know about him? He said, well, you know what? Today is his birthday. And I thought, what am I going to get for him? This is a man, this little boy. I've been with him for the last 6 to 8 weeks. I've been, washing him every day. I've been getting him dressed every day. I've been looking after him every day. And I said, for his birthday, I want to get him something special. But he's not going to play video games. He's not going to play with a ball. He can't do that. He's so severely disabled. So I said, what better present can I get him than to come to the Rebbe, the Skvera Rebbe? He is a member of the Skvera Hasidim. And I'll be able to tell him, you know what, I got a blessing from your Rebbe that you should have a refuah shalema. And as he's telling this to the man in front of him, the man in front of him begins to cry and get really emotional. And this boy Yoni turns to him and he says, why are you getting so emotional? He says, you don't understand. This boy that you're referring to, he's my son. And this story touched me in a very deep way. Because often in life, in the Jewish world, we have so many factors, so many sections, so many different people. And we often categorize ourselves into camps, and that invariably often creates and engenders this idea of sinat chinam. We think we're better than someone else. So today, on the fast day of Shiva HaSabbat Tammuz, let us take a moment to contemplate what we are mourning, what we are fasting for. The idea that we don't have a Yerushalayim which was destroyed because of Sinat Chinam, but whose very name carries this lesson that we have to go ahead and compromise whenever we can to avoid strife, to avoid machloket, to avoid infighting, which eventually, if we do that, that will engender the tremendous achdut and unity amongst the Jewish world, where there will be this outpouring of avat chinam, of love, for no other reason than the fact that we love. And as a result of that, Hashem will once again have a home to be able to be rebuilt in His holy city of Yerushalayim.